Welcome to today's webinar. We're going to be getting started in just a few minutes. The directions to get started are on the slide I'm sharing. There are written and visual directions to guide you. If closed captioning would aid your learning today, please find the closed caption button on your Zoom toolbar. Click the up arrow button and on the menu that pops up, select Show Subtitle. If you would like to listen to today's webinar in Spanish, please find the interpretation button on your Zoom toolbar. Click the up arrow button and on the menu that pops up, select Spanish to listen to a live interpretation of today's webinar. Lastly, you may have questions come up throughout the webinar today. Please submit questions by finding the Q&A button on your Zoom toolbar. You can click the button and you'll be prompted to type in questions. A frequently asked questions document is available on our website at healthymealsincentives.org. If you have a specific question regarding your school food authority, please email support@healthymealsincentives.org. Welcome everyone. I'm seeing a couple things coming in the chat. Yes, this webinar is being recorded and it will be shared on our website by the end of this week. And we're going to get started in just another minute or two. For those just joining, welcome to our webinar today. We're going to be getting started in another minute or so, and the directions to get started are on that slide that I'm sharing. There are written and visual directions to guide you. So if closed captioning would aid your learning today, please find the closed caption button on your Zoom toolbar. Click the up arrow button, and on the menu that pops up, select Show Subtitle. If you would like to listen to today's webinar in Spanish, please find the interpretation button on your Zoom toolbar. Click the up arrow button and on the menu that pops up, select Spanish to listen to a live interpretation of today's webinar. Lastly, you might have some questions throughout today's webinar. Please submit those questions by finding the Q&A button on your Zoom toolbar. You can click the button and then you'll be prompted to type in your question. A frequently asked questions document is available on our website. It's at healthymealsincentives.org. If you have a specific question regarding your school food authority, please email support@healthymealsincentives.org. Welcome from Oklahoma. Welcome from Tennessee. Where is everyone joining from? Feel free to put it in the chat. Johnny from California, Dolores, Ohio, New York, Maryland, Washington, Kentucky. Oh, this is awesome. Indiana, New Jersey, Missouri, Pennsylvania, New York, Colorado, Michigan. We are from all over today. That is so exciting to have so many states represented here. Arizona, Georgia, Vermont, Mississippi, Iowa, Virginia. Welcome, 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 everyone. Texas. Okay, we are going to go ahead and get started. Again, if you have any questions that come up throughout today's webinar, please use that Q&A feature on your Zoom toolbar. Barb, you are muted.
Welcome, everyone, to our third webinar about the USDA Food and Nutrition Services Healthy Meals Incentive Grants for small and/or rural school food authorities. Today is the last in this spring series of webinars that we've offered in an effort to support school food authorities in their successful submission of an application for the Healthy Meals Incentives Subgrant opportunity. Whether you're a school food service director, a nutrition educator, or anyone else interested in improving child nutrition, we believe that you will find this session informative and engaging. So let's dive in and learn more about this grant opportunity together. I'd like our webinar team to introduce themselves to you today. And so moving from left to right, I'm Barb McCurra. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I am the Healthy Meals Incentive Program Director for Action for Healthy Kids.
Hi, everyone. I'm so glad you can join us today. My name is Maureen Bailey, and my pronouns are she, her, hers. I'm the Professional Development and Evaluation Senior Manager for the Healthy Meals Incentives Program at Action for Healthy Kids and RMC Health.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Laura Smith. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I'm the Executive Director of Programs with the Chef Ann Foundation.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kate Havlick, and my pronouns are she, her, hers. I am the Associate Manager of Business Development with RMC Health. I'm also serving as technical support for today's webinar. So if you need assistance with technology in the next hour, please feel free to send me a message in the chat, and I'll do my best to help. Thank you.
Thank you, team. So I hope everyone can see today's agenda. We've already covered the welcome and introductions. And next, we'll do a quick overview of the Healthy Meals Incentives Grant opportunity. Then we'll share some project examples. The project examples will help school food authorities learn how to layer their grant application to include multiple categories so that they can maximize their funding requests. Make sure to have your pen and paper ready for your note-taking in that section today. The project examples will be followed by a high-level overview of the training and technical assistance grantees can expect to receive or request from our unique partnerships and subgrant structure. Then we'll review the most frequently asked questions, and after that, we'll wrap things up in the closing. As a reminder, we have 3 specific objectives for today's webinar, which are: number 1, review the project examples and explain how to layer a grant application to maximize the full amount of grant funding up to $150,000 per school food authority. 2, provide an overview of the types of training and technical assistance that will be available to grant recipients through each of the partner organizations, Action for Healthy Kids, RMC Health, and the Chef Ann Foundation. And then number 3, we want to review some of our most frequently asked questions. Before we begin covering the grant information, I just want to extend our thoughts and hopes that you all had a warm and meaningful day last Friday as the country celebrated the acclaimed School Lunch Hero Day. It's an honor to be a part of this work with all of you to protect the health of our nation's children by providing them with access to nutritious school meals. We recognize that you, school nutrition professionals nationwide, have encountered numerous obstacles, and we thank you not only for what you have done, but what we know you will continue to do: serve children. Our aim with these sub-grant opportunities is to make that job a little easier for you to be successful in your work. So on to the grant information overview. As you know, the grant application opened on April 10th. The last day to submit a grant application will be May 26th, and the grant portal will close at 5:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We anticipate awarding up to 240 schools with the Healthy Meals Incentives grants. Who's eligible to apply? Well, the grant application is open to small and/or rural school food authorities in the United States or the District of Columbia, Puerto Rico, Guam, or the United States Virgin Islands. School food authorities that meet this definition are eligible to apply for up to $150,000 as long as they have less than 5,000 students enrolled and/or the majority of the students are enrolled in locality codes 41, 42, or 43. In order to determine if your school food authority is assigned a locality code of 41, 42, or 43, please use the link being shared in the chat. We've had questions about the definition of a school food authority. School food authorities are typically the school district or the entity within the school district that operates the school food service programs. The school food authority holds the highest level of responsibility for ensuring that school meals meet federal nutrition guidelines, managing program funds, complying with regulations related to food safety and sanitation, and waste reduction. If you are the governing body responsible for administering the National School Lunch Program or School Breakfast Program for your school, then you would be considered the school food authority and eligible for these grants. Please note that a school food authority cannot be a food service management company or a community organization for the purposes of this grant application. There are three main grant objectives. Your proposed grant activities should be clearly aligned with all three objectives listed in the request for applications. The first objective of this grant is to help school food authorities overcome the challenges in the improvement of the nutritional quality of their school meals. These challenges could be due to limited staffing, difficulty in accessing training, increased food costs due to limited purchasing power, or lack of physical space or outdated equipment.
The second objective of this grant is to improve the nutritional quality of the school food authority's school meals and support the areas of the proposed updates to the school meal standards and maintain consistency with the dietary guidelines for Americans by focusing their grant activities on one or more of the areas outlined on the following two slides. In order for your grant application to meet the second objective, your application should seek to do at least one of the following, but of course, you could address all of the areas. Reduce the amount of added sugars in the school breakfast program meals. Reduce the amount of sodium in the National School Lunch Program meals. Engage students in local menu planning efforts, taste testing, and nutrition education activities. Feature local agricultural products. Increase whole grain rich menu items. Work collaboratively with students and the community to provide nutritious menu options that reflect the cultures of students at school. Incorporate scratch prepared menu items into the breakfast and/or lunch meal plans, and implement innovative practices in nutrition education activities.
The third and final grant objective is to apply for one or more of the Healthy Meals Incentives Recognition Awards. Applying for one or more of these awards after using grant funds to make improvements to school meals as outlined in the first two grant objectives demonstrates to the funded school food authorities, students, and community that nutritious meals are critically important to support child health and school achievement. Applying for at least one of the Healthy Meals Incentives Recognition Awards is a requirement for recipients to complete. More information about the Healthy Meals Incentives Recognition Awards can be found in Appendix D of the Request for Applications document found on the Healthy Meals Incentives website. It's also important to note that Action for Healthy Kids will provide technical assistance to support funded school food authorities with this grant objective. On your screen, you'll see a list of things that can be funded with this grant. It's important to note that only up to 25% of funding can be used towards purchasing food. So what could the implementation of this look like? Your district could replace kitchen equipment and engage staff in utilizing the equipment to create new scratch-cooked recipes. Your district could also implement nutrition education and student engagement plans. Another option, your district could train staff on basic culinary, production, cooking, and serving skills, and then implement new recipes to incorporate more scratch cooking. Your district could also hire staff to source more value-added, minimally processed and regionally sourced meals. For more details on the types of items that can be funded under each of these categories, please refer to the request for applications that can be found on healthymealsincentives.org. It's also being shared in the chat now. We're going to review a few more in-depth examples of sample projects.
In the second webinar shared on the Healthy Meals Incentives website, we went into depth on the types of items that can be funded. Now we're going to talk through a few ideas about what an entire funded project could look like. We're going to call this layering your grant application. We're calling it layering because we are going to encourage you to examine all the different ways you can layer your grant proposal from one effort, like requesting funding for new equipment, onto another, like hiring a chef to develop new recipes, and yet another, such as nutrition education, to help students learn about how better eating builds better brains and better health. This layering effect will help you build sustainability and operational strength into your nutrition programs. Here's our first scenario. A small and or rural school food authority has outdated kitchen equipment and needs to replace a convection oven. This school food authority would like to use grant funds to purchase a new convection oven, but it is under the $10,000 minimum for the grant application. What else could they do to take advantage of the up to $150,000 grant to meet the goal of improving the process to provide scratch prepared lunch menu items to deliver high quality nutritious meals that meet students' feedback? First, rather than purchasing a convection oven, this school food authority could purchase a combi oven. A combi oven provides more control over the cooking process, including moisture content, which can improve the taste of food and even increase the nutritional quality of the food. Whether choosing a convection oven or a combi oven, the SFA should be sure to purchase extra racks and maybe sheet trays, hotel pans, and other add-on items to ensure they're ready to use that equipment. Also, remember, purchasing equipment is not just about the unit itself. Be sure to include delivery and installation costs associated with the equipment. You may also find the need for training for your staff from the equipment supplier. The goal of this grant is to improve the nutritional value of school meals while overcoming barriers. So what about the rest of the equipment in the kitchen? If the other equipment is inefficient, now's the opportunity to replace it. The school food authority doesn't have to stop with the single oven. Perhaps look at updating the refrigerator or freezer, or purchase equipment for measuring and weighing food. You could get a floor model mixer that can help serve multiple purposes, such as pulling apart chicken for tacos or pork for sandwiches, maybe blending fillings for calzones or burritos, or mixing your own scratch-made granola or a whole grain prepared salad for the salad bar. Don't forget to budget for the add-ons for the other equipment. Maybe you need extra bowls, a grater, and or slicer attachments. There are several nutrient analysis software options that have been approved by the USDA Food and Nutrition Service. By using an approved software, you can ensure that the food you serve in the cafeteria meets or exceeds the dietary specifications for the National School Lunch Program and School Breakfast Program. Do you need a computer to run the software because you don't have one for the nutrition services staff? This grant can cover that too. You can hire staff and/or consultants to support this work. You can also pay for training for staff. For instance, maybe staff members could use training on how to use the nutrient analysis software or how to use the new piece of equipment you're introducing to improve the nutritional quality of your school meal options. And while we're talking about staff, another idea could be to contract with a chef to develop and test new recipes for you. Again, to increase the scratch cooking efforts in your kitchen. Scratch cooking can help you reduce the amount of sodium and sugars served in school meals. Hiring a local chef consultant could also provide an opportunity to build new community partnerships. Okay, so you've budgeted for new equipment and replacing inefficient equipment. You're going to introduce new nutrient analysis software and train staff members, as well as hire or contract new team members like a chef. That's amazing. That's a lot. Is there still room in your project budget? If so, consider conducting a few student taste tests with the newly developed recipes. Get student input along the way. What do they like, not like? Remember, you can use up to 25% of the total grant funds to purchase food for food samples for taste test events. So get input from your students as you work hard to improve the meals in the cafeteria. The possibilities are nearly endless. So if there's one takeaway from this scenario, don't limit yourself to just one idea. Each applicant can apply for up to $150,000 to use over nearly 2 years. Think about the bigger picture for improving nutritional quality of your school meal programs, and let us help you get there.
Okay, so that first scenario was definitely a big one. Let's look at another scenario with a different type of project. A small and/or rural school food authority would like to purchase a new fresh garden or salad bar to put in the cafeteria. Their goal is to feature local agricultural products and reduce the amount of sodium in the National School Lunch Program. What else could this school food authority do with this grant funding? Serving fresh produce is great, and there's so much more the school food authority could do to expand this into a full program. Maybe they could upgrade and purchase a refrigerated salad bar. Think about all of the opportunities they have to introduce local seasonal produce, or even set the salad bar up so a student could get their grains and proteins from that salad bar as well as their fruits and vegetables. It could be a whole new reimbursable meal opportunity. And they shouldn't forget to budget for the salad bar pans, maybe get some in various sizes and shapes, or some salad dressing bottles and holders, because this program has also decided they're going to start making their own dressings from scratch. They should think about what is going to make the salad bar look and taste delicious. Now, if they're going to invest in that salad bar, how are they going to prepare the fruits and vegetables that they're going to serve? Maybe a sectionizer for fruit, or a motorized chopper or food processor for turning the local carrots into kid-friendly shredded carrots for that salad bar. And if we think back to that salad dressing, what could facilitate their move towards scratch cooking in this process? An immersion blender would allow them to make their own school dressings. Not sure where to start with those new recipes? Remember, they could contract with a chef to create healthy dressing recipes and then train the staff on best practices. Maybe they need additional support for food preparation. Grant funds can be used to provide training to staff on things like knife skills. And of course, if we're talking about salad bars, we can't forget nutrition education. Engaging with youth about the food they eat can help bolster the program and make it more successful in the long term. Maybe they should think about hiring a nutrition educator to help students understand why it's important for students to consume fresh produce, what the benefits are, what happens if they don't have access to fresh produce, and to help them start building healthier habits. Similarly, they could work on a garden to cafeteria program and have students grow their own food. Getting students involved in the process of growing their own food increases their engagement in the process, and it can make them more interested in trying different vegetables that they otherwise might not eat. The school food authority could support this programming by purchasing school garden supplies and educating students about sustainable farming practices. Maybe they're not sure they're ready to hire staff, so they could hire a contractor or a local organization already doing this work to support with the program. You don't necessarily need someone on staff who is able to provide these services already. And market, and get students involved. They could do a poster contest, and the student whose design wins gets displayed in the cafeteria. They could also purchase posters that reflect in-season produce and display them throughout the year. There are a lot of possibilities to display healthy choices. And again, post taste tests and try out different composed salad recipes. Maybe there are students who wouldn't eat broccoli on its own, but if you mix it with fresh cranberries, sunflower seeds, and a low sodium, low sugar vinaigrette dressing, they might just love it.
Okay, that was a lot, but let's uncover one more scenario. What if a small and/or rural school food authority wants to focus on nutrition education to help students make healthy choices at school, at home, and when eating out? How could the school food authority expand this into a more holistic program to implement innovative practices in nutrition education? Well, they could purchase the curriculum to provide high-quality nutrition education to students, or hire staff and/or consultants to create something for them and support with teaching students about holistic nutrition. To expand on this, you could also get cooking demo stations for classrooms for students so that they can begin making healthy recipes that accompany their nutrition lessons. They might engage students in the process of menu planning and have them provide input on culturally relevant meals that could be incorporated into the school breakfast and lunch programs. Do they need technology or to support the menu planning and recipe testing? That's right, nutrient analysis software and equipment, like computers, are allowable costs. After students have provided some suggested menu items and the school food authority has developed the recipes, they could do a few taste tests to make sure it's popular with the students. Collecting student feedback and then sharing out about their efforts with the community would be another step. Maybe they want to publish their new menu and share about all of the efforts they've made to increase scratch cooking. They could also highlight the capacity of their program to deliver delicious, fresh, and nutritious meals to students. So there might be other ways that you can think about how you can add to your grant application. If you're purchasing cooking equipment, remember to factor in the cost of that shipping and installation fees. Is it time to upgrade your part-time staff to full-time staff as it relates to activities outlined in your grant application? Many school nutrition operations have found that full-time positions can sometimes be easier to fill and that it also helps with staff retention. You can also hire contractors to support with the grant activities and meeting the 3 objectives of this grant. Are you requesting a new oven? As we said, don't forget to purchase those new pans, or maybe you need a new refrigeration unit to ensure that you have the proper cold storage for your fresh ingredients and your scratch prepared meals. Do you plan to request a new walk-in or freezer? Don't forget to add shelving to your request. Take a look at your dry storage while you're at it. Do the storage shelf need replacements? There are many new options available for shelving configurations that do an incredible job of saving space, helping with organization, and making it more efficient and more physically safe for school nutrition professionals.
Let's take a quick poll about the 3 program examples we just reviewed. Question number 1. Did the 3 scenarios help you think about how you can build a full program with these grant funds? Yes, no, I don't know. Question number 2. Which scenario resonated with you the most? Purchasing new kitchen equipment, providing a fresh salad bar, or bringing nutrition education to students? And question number 3. Do you think you will request technical assistance from Action for Healthy Kids to help brainstorm ways you can use these funds to create a full program? Yes or no? Once you are done with this poll, please press the X button in the top left corner of your poll pop-up to close this tab.
Give folks just another couple seconds to respond, and then we'll share out the results. Okay, looking at these responses, it looks like a lot of you found this to be really helpful for first question. Then it seems like for the second question, a lot of folks were really excited about the first scenario, purchasing new kitchen equipment. That really reflects a lot of what we've been seeing in questions that have been coming in about eligible expenses. Great.
So it's important to remember that you are not on your own during the application process. Do you have questions about how to make an idea you have a more holistic project or program at your school food authority? Please reach out to Action for Healthy Kids for technical assistance. Similarly, if you receive funding, you're going to have access to support. One of the major benefits of this grant is that you have access to technical assistance and professional development opportunities provided by the 3 partner organizations: Action for Healthy Kids, Chef Ann Foundation, and RMC Health. We're now going to go into a little bit more detail about each organization and the types of support they can provide. Barb, you're on mute.
Action for Healthy Kids is a national nonprofit organization committed to the belief that healthy kids create a better world. And now, because of our work with school food authorities and our Healthy Meals Incentives initiatives, Action for Healthy Kids is motivated to influence and transform how school meal breakfast and lunch menus are planned and produced to improve nutritional quality and inspire adventurous and curious food explorers. We will focus on local foods, especially whole grains, vegetables, legumes, and fruits, as well as food products that reflect various cultures. As the lead cooperator or partner of these grant opportunities, Action for Healthy Kids will offer training and technical assistance through our Action for Healthy Kids regional nutrition program managers. Our nutrition program managers will help the grantees cut through the jungle of information and the web of connections to advise grantees about our Alliance partner resources to best help them achieve their goals. We will also provide the training and technical assistance for all schools applying for the Healthy Meal Incentives Recognition Awards. Some examples of our Alliance partners and collaborators are the USDA Team Nutrition, National Farm to School Network, the Extension Office, Common Threads, Pilot Light, Institute of Child Nutrition, and School-Based Health Alliance. And we'll keep adding more Alliance partners as we move through the program.
The Chef Ann Foundation is committed to helping school districts build, implement, and sustain self-operated cook-from-scratch programs. We provide a continuum of programming that meets districts where they are and helps support them in moving their programs forward. The Chef Ann Foundation can provide grantees with training and technical assistance on menu planning, recipe development, kitchen workflow, food safety, food crediting, inventory management, equipment, labor and staffing, finance and budget development, procurement, commodity selection, contracts, and marketing plans.
RMC Health partners with passionate advocates for healthy young people, providing professional learning and capacity building that prepares them to be knowledgeable, capable, and effective. So wellness champions can bring their vision to life, and students from every background and identity can live their best lives. RMC Health can provide professional development and technical assistance opportunities for funded school food authorities on numerous topics, including, but not necessarily limited to, nutrition education, school gardens, conducting taste tests, writing success stories that highlight the work you're doing with this grant, strategic planning and mapping out activities beyond the funding period to sustain the work you're doing, wellness policies, using data to support programs, drafting a school health improvement plan, otherwise known as an action plan, and family, student, and community engagement.
Now we're going to review some of the most frequently asked questions that we have received about this grant. The first section of questions we will answer is about the grant application and grant details. Our first question is for Barb. Barb, can you outline what exactly is included with this grant?
Yeah. The Healthy Meals Incentive Grants for small and rural school food authorities will offer competitive grants of up to $150,000 per school food authority. These grants are intended to help school nutrition professionals who are experiencing challenges in the improvement of the nutritional quality of their school meals. We've named them before, and we know the challenges are many, but just to review them again, some of the most common ones are the challenges due to limited staffing, difficulty in accessing training, the increased food costs due to limited purchasing power, and the lack of physical space and outdated equipment, among others. As we just outlined, Action for Healthy Kids will work with their partners, RMC Health and Chef Ann Foundation, to help administer these grants. As a reminder, these organizations are, RMC Health is a national leader in professional development for school staff to create and sustain healthy schools. And the Chef Ann Foundation is dedicated to empowering schools nationwide with tools, training, resources, and funding they need to serve nutritious school meals. So collectively, all three organizations will provide in-depth, individualized technical assistance to support and guide grantees in overcoming challenges and implementing key strategies to improve school meal quality, meet the Healthy Meals Incentives Recognition Awards criteria, and mitigate any potential roadblocks to success. So school food authorities do not need to include training and technical assistance from Action for Healthy Kids, Chef Ann Foundation, or RMC Health in their grant narrative or in their budget. The training and technical assistance from these three partner organizations are free to the 200 or so grant-funded school food authorities.
Thank you so much, Barb. And just want to reflect on what a comprehensive opportunity this is. The grant really is just a lot more than funding. It's really in depth. Our next question is for Maureen. Maureen, does the application need to be completed in one sitting once it's begun, or can people return to it?
No, the application can be saved as you work on it, and you can go back to it at any time. So please just remember to save your application frequently because it does not save automatically.
Good tip. Thanks for looking out, Maureen. All right, our next question's for Laura. Laura, is there any technical assistance available for completing the application?
Yes. For help and technical assistance with the online application system, please email support@healthymealsincentives.org with Healthy Meals Incentives Grants in the subject line.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I'm sure many folks present are curious about our next question. Barb, by when do all funds need to be expended?
Great question. So funds must be spent during the performance period of August 1st, 2023 through September 30th, 2025. It's really a nice attribute of this grant, especially if the school food authority takes our advice and layers their grant application to optimize their total award of up to $150,000. There's an old proverb that goes like this: there's only one way to eat an elephant, one bite at a time. Well, I feel this metaphor is related because we all know that there are many ways school nutrition programs can be improved. For example, new equipment, new software, new menus, new recipes, new staffing, new training. We all know the list goes on and on. The problems can seem huge and overwhelming, but with this grant, school nutrition professionals have a little more than 2 years to do this work. and they can take their improvement steps in smaller bites and make it more manageable. I've worked with School Nutrition Heroes for many years, and there's a great deal of upgrades and challenges that they can take on and accomplish in 26 months.
That's really inspiring and encouraging, Barb. Thank you so much for that. Now that we know when the funds need to be spent, I'm sure people are curious about how awards are dispersed. Maureen, will funds be awarded upfront or on a reimbursable basis?
Great question, Kate. Thank you. The Healthy Meals Incentives grants are reimbursement subgrants in which grantees will be allowed to request one reimbursement per month for all outstanding expenses at the time of the reimbursement request. The reimbursement request will require details of actual expenditures by budget category, along with supporting documents for the reimbursements requested. Supporting documentation may include, but is not limited to, invoices, receipts, canceled checks, and purchase orders.
Great. Thank you so much, Maureen. Our next question is for Laura about recognition awards. Laura, do school food authorities need to know which recognition award they'll apply for by the time they submit an application for the grant?
Good question. The answer is no. Applicants do not need to know which recognition award they will be applying for when they submit their grant application. The only requirement here is that you know that you will be required to apply for a recognition award when you accept your Healthy Meals Incentives grant contract and terms and conditions document. Action for Healthy Kids and their partners can provide technical assistance to the school food authorities awarded as they implement their grants to help them decide which recognition award or awards they would like to choose. You can see Appendix D in the request for applications for the recognition awards and criteria.
All right, great. Thank you so much, Laura. Now let's get into some eligibility questions. Barb, if a district's food service is run by a food service management company, or an FSMC for short, can the FSMC be involved in the application process or complete the application and implement the new program on behalf of the SFA?
Eligibility questions have been a large share of our questions, and this has been a common one. The food service management company can be involved to the extent that they can help with project planning, information gathering, and the research necessary to put the grant together. They cannot complete nor submit the application on behalf of the SFA. The school food authority must be the entity responsible for submitting the application and any of the subsequent reporting requirements if they are selected as one of the grantees. The food service management is really the conduit to complete the work that the school food authority has submitted for in their grant application.
Great. Thanks so much for clarifying that. That was a question that I know has come up even just in our Q&As during this particular webinar. All right, now let's talk about locality codes. Maureen, if a school food authority is rural, but some townships within the county don't have locality codes 41, 42, or 43, is that school food authority eligible?
Another great question. Thank you, Kate. So the requirements to meet the definition of a rural school food authority is that the majority of students within the school food authority are enrolled in a rural school as defined by a locality code of 41, 42, or 43, according to the National Center for Education Statistics online tool. Therefore, if over 50% of the students within your school food authority are enrolled in a rural school with that locality code of 41, 42, or 43, you are considered rural.
Great, thank you so much. All right, our last eligibility question of the day goes to Laura. Laura, may a charter school apply on its own behalf independently, or does a school district apply on behalf of a charter school?
The school food authority must apply for this grant. Individual schools that are not a school food authority or SFA are not eligible entities, though the applicant SFA can propose projects that focus on individual schools within the school food authority. If you are the governing body responsible for administering the National School Lunch Program and/or school breakfast program for your school, then you would be considered the school food authority and eligible for these grants, as long as you meet the requirements of small and or rural. If you are not a school food authority, please work with your school food authority to prioritize projects that focus on individual schools. The schools to be supported through the grant must participate in the National School Lunch Program and or School Breakfast Program.
Great. Thanks so much, Laura, and really appreciate that encouragement to get people to collaborate.
Okay. Now we're going to take a brief 2-question quiz about the grant application. If your school food authority receives funding, you will need to apply for a Healthy Meals Incentives Recognition Award during the funding period. Do you need to know which award you apply for prior to submitting the grant application? Yes or no? Give everybody a couple of seconds here to answer. Okay. And our answer, no. You do not need to know which Healthy Meals Incentives Recognition Award you will apply for. Action for Healthy Kids and its partners can provide technical assistance to awardees to help the school food authority decide which award to apply for. I think most people got that correct. Question number 2. If the school food authority has a majority of students enrolled in rural schools, but has some students who are not within a locality code of 41, 42, or 43, is the school food authority eligible? Yes or no? Give everybody a few seconds to answer. Okay, and our answer looks like most people got it correct. Yes, as long as more than 50% of students enrolled attend a school within locality code of 41, 42, or 43, your school food authority is considered rural and therefore eligible.
Great. Thank you so much, Laura. All right, moving back to our frequently asked questions. The second set of questions we're going to answer will be about how to apply for these grants. For our first question in this section, Barb, where do folks go to apply for this grant?
Well, as a reminder, or you might have heard in this or previous webinars, you will first register for an account on the Action for Healthy Kids grant portal. Once you've registered, the Healthy Meals Incentive Grant application will be available on your Action for Healthy Kids portal. You can get to the grant portal by going to our website, www.healthymealsincentives.org, and scrolling to about the middle of the page and click on the green Go to Portal button on a pinkish peach background. Our website is being shared in the chat with you now. Please note we have only one location to apply for this grant, and it is completely online and available through the Action for Healthy Kids grant portal.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Barb. Okay, for our next question, Maureen, this one goes to you. How difficult is the application process? Are there a lot of supporting documents to submit?
Great question, and it's one we've got a lot of, so thank you, Kate. First, I just want to say USDA Food and Nutrition Services wanted to make sure that the grant application was as straightforward as possible. And as Barb mentioned on the previous question, the grant application will be submitted through the online application system. So there are 5 required components of the application. The first one is school food authority information. The second, project information. The third, key personnel. The fourth, project design and implementation that includes a budget table and project plan table, but there are no additional supporting documents to upload here. And then the only section that requires supporting documents to upload is organizational supports. In this section, you'll upload a required letter of support from the project coordinator supervisor, a required letter of support from a state agency staff member, and up to 2 optional letters of support from project partners. For more details on each section, please refer to the request for applications, section 5.2, which can be found on pages 12 to 13. It can be helpful to review your answers to grant application questions in a Word document first, and then copy and paste those responses to the grant portal.
Great. Thank you so much, Maureen. All right. Our next set of questions is going to be about eligible and ineligible expenses. All right, Laura, this question's for you. Can we use money from this grant to incorporate meals from a variety of cultures?
Yes. Funding can be used for working collaboratively with students and the community to provide nutritious school meal options that reflect the different cultures of the students at the school. It is important to remember that only up to 25% of the total funds requested can go directly to food purchases for conducting events like student taste tests.
Great, thank you so much. Barb, our next question's for you. Are project coordinators an allowable expense with this grant?
Yes, funds can be used for salary and benefits for staff who are directly supporting the project. This is another really unique feature of this grant. It allows you to pay for additional staffing, which is a game changer. If you want to create new culturally relevant menus and do some student focus groups, but you never had the time, well, now you can hire a full-time staff person to either do it for you or backfill for yourself or someone else so that you can take that extra startup work that you need for the project. You could also hire a consultant to help with the work. Remember, your budget must include these costs as a separate line item, and the budget narrative should include detailed information about the salary, benefits, and the amount of time that each staff member will be allocated to the project. As noted, payment to contractors carrying out grant activities is also an allowable expense.
Great, thank you so much, Barb. I'm sure that's a relief to a lot of folks here. Okay, our next question is for Maureen. Maureen, will this grant enable school food authorities to purchase new holding and cooking equipment?
Yes, funds may be used for capital equipment and small equipment expenses that directly support the applicant's school meal improvement efforts. So capital equipment is equipment having a useful life of more than 1 year and a cost of $5,000 or more per unit. And it can include items like braising pans and soup kettles, classroom cooking carts, combi ovens, convection ovens, range tops, commercial pasta machines, countertop commercial griddles, meatball forming machines, dough sheeters, bread rounders, floor stand mixers with attachments, and the list goes on and on. And then small equipment expenses mean all tangible property other than that described in the definition of capital equipment, and can include items like breakfast to go serving carts, classroom cooking cart supplies, gardening tools and supplies like seedlings, stakes, and school garden learning supplies, immersion blenders, knives, knife sharpeners, cutting boards, menu boards and chalkboard window markers, nutrition education supplies, nutrition posters and signage, printing costs for those nutrition posters and signage. And again, the list just keeps going on.
Wow, that is extensive. What an incredible opportunity here. Okay, let's switch over to capital improvement ideas. Laura, are capital improvement expenses allowed with this grant?
Unlike capital equipment, no. Capital improvement or construction projects, including any major improvement to facilities and infrastructure that would add to the permanent value of the school building, are not eligible. If the building were turned upside down, would a piece of equipment be held in place by a permanent connection? If yes, then it's tied to capital improvements and cannot be paid for with grant funds. Walk-in or reach-in freezers and coolers are an exception, and the grants may be used to purchase and install these items.
All right. So now we're going to take another brief 2-question quiz on eligible and ineligible expenses. So question 1, a rural and/or small school food authority would like to expand on the types of nutritious foods served in the cafeteria. More than half of the funds being applied for would go towards the purchase of food. Can this project be funded? And we'll give folks a few seconds to answer this question. No, this project would not be eligible for funding because food purchases cannot total more than 25% of the overall amount of requested funds. If the school food authority requested, say, 10% of all funds requested to support food purchases for those taste test events, then the project would be eligible for funding. And it looks like most folks got that. And now question 2. A school food authority is applying to upgrade kitchen equipment and to move to scratch cooking. They would like to work with a local chef to improve recipes and want to pay the chef to design recipes and facilitate 2 student and family taste tests during the school year. Can this project be funded? Okay. Excellent. 100% on this one. Yes, grant funds can be used to partner with others and to host taste tests as long as that total amount of food purchase is below 25% of all requested funds.
After completing our frequently asked questions sections, we want to provide a reminder for you that we do have a frequently asked questions document posted to our website now. We have provided answers to numerous questions school food authorities have asked, and we hope you will find it helpful. This document can be found on our website, which is www.healthymealsincentives.org under resources. It's also being shared in the chat now. We want to thank all of our attendees for joining us at one or perhaps all of our webinars. We know the end of the school year gets very, very busy for you and that these last days can be physically and mentally exhausting. So thank you for spending time with us to learn how this grant opportunity can help you with your mission, your work, and your challenges. We applaud your hard work and deep commitment to serving youth. Never forget that you are a critical part of the student's school day. I also want to publicly thank our presenters, Maureen Bailey, Laura Smith, and Kate Havlick for being superb partners in the development and delivery of our Healthy Meals Incentives Sub-Grant Applications webinar series. We would also like to thank Alexandra Solheim from Translation Excellence for her interpretation support for our listeners. Their work has been so well done, thoughtfully approached, and exquisitely delivered. This would have been impossible to do without them. And last, to the USDA Food and Nutrition Services, Nutrition Education and Promotion Branch, we say thank you. Thank you for your constant guidance, support, and cheerleading skills. The USDA has been an excellent partner and wants to see us all succeed. So we have a few reminders for everyone before we go. Remember, the grant application is currently open and it will close on May 26, 2023 at 5:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you have questions, please submit them to us at support@healthymealsincentives.org. And finally, please complete the survey that will become available immediately upon closing the webinar. It should not take more than a few minutes to complete. So thank you again for joining us for today's webinar. And remember, if you have any challenges with the grant application, please contact the email shown on the screen. Or if you've had problems with getting a response to any of the questions you've already posed, please try submitting them again. We've been receiving a very large number of questions. So thank you for attending and be well.